What is up, you guys? The Dark Knight here, back with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys Gold Label McFarlane Collector Edition DC Multiverse Batman v Superman, Armored Batman, and Knightmare Batman. Before we get started, I would like to ask you guys, if you feel so inclined, to please leave a like on the video and subscribe. It really does help my channel and is absolutely free. Taking a look at the packaging over here, I mean, this is a pretty new looking packaging that we've seen from McFarlane Toys. It's kind of part of their McFarlane Collector Edition line, but it's the first 2-pack that we've seen from it. You got Gold Label at the top, McFarlane Collector Edition on the side, DC Multiverse, Batman Nightmare, Batman Armor Suit, 17 plus. At the side, the window box continues, Batman Nightmare and Batman Armor Suit. And then you can see this is number 2 in the collection of 2-packs. I think the first one was the Jonah Hex and the General. DC Multiverse at the top of that. On the other side over here, you got the bit of the BVS style going on with the BVS logo, Batman Nightmare, Batman Armor Suit. Then at the back over here, you got some nice artwork from the film. You got Knightmare Batman and Armored Batman. At the top, you got the window box continuing along with the BVS logo. And the bottom, you get a bunch of legalese along with the 17 plus warning. Then I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but the insert over here is Metropolis, so you could use it as a little bit of a diorama sort of thing. Taking a look at the figures over here, what can I say? I really love Batman v Superman, the movie, and I know not a lot of people do. And honestly, it was not a very good movie, but I love the concept of it. I love Ben Affleck's portrayal as Batman. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. The concept was there. It was just the story, sadly, was not. But, you know, Ben Affleck's portrayal as Batman, I loved it. And most importantly, I loved the look of his Batman in the DCEU. And this is translated pretty well over here. I loved his armor look in the movie. And I also loved his nightmare look in the movie. And we get both of that over here. I think that this is a pretty good lineup of accessories to include with these figures. You do get a diorama base for these two. I don't know why you would need it for 2 Ben Affleck Batmans, but if you want to have like Batman fighting Superman, this is pretty good. On the left side over here, you get all the Armored Batman accessories, and that is the grenade launcher from the film. You get the gas canister that he uses to blind Superman, and also you do get the grapple gun or launcher, whatever you want to call it, that he also uses when he's swinging Superman around. Then you also have 2 extra hands. He does come with 2 open hands already on the figure, but the 2 extra hands just one-fisted and like sprawled out sort of hand. Then on the Nightmare Batman side over here, you do get a bunch of guns. So the first one over here is the most iconic gun from the film. It is the one that you mainly see him holding, but I am a little bit sad that we don't get the strap to go around him on this. But what I'm more sad about is that we didn't get the iconic Joker card on this gun. Now, this is absolutely criminal to me. I don't know how you miss a detail like that. It's got that duct tape there. I just don't know why we're missing the card. So maybe it was like a deco that they were planning to put on, but I guess it didn't pan out. Otherwise, you do get a pistol over here, which is not too bad. A little bit big for my taste. And then this sort of crossbow looking gun. I can't recall when he used this in any of the films. Maybe it was part of a concept for it. If you guys know, let me know in the comments down below. And then I guess if you wanted to add on, they do come with their own collector cards, and these are pretty nice looking. Taking a look at Knightmare Batman over here first, we are seeing a lot of reuse with this figure, and I personally feel like it really does show on this specific design of the character. The head sculpt over here, this is the only difference to the regular release, which will be shipping soon as well. This one's just got the hood on it, so, or I guess you call it the face covering. So this looks pretty good. I like this a lot. I like the weathering on the goggles over there. That is pretty nice. And overall, like, the face covering doesn't really break up the sculpt all that much. It kind of like matches in with the rest of the wrinkles. So they did that pretty well. I liked how they did that a lot, and I like that you can get the articulation out of that. The trench coat over here looks really good. I really like the texture that they chose with this. They did a bit of paint detailing at the bottom over here. And yeah, I know a lot of people were saying that they wanted to see the soft goods for the jacket. I think we were better off with the sculpted parts by far. One thing though I will say is that I don't like on the arms over here how they did reuse this from the original BVS buck. This sucks a lot because you can see the difference in the texture from the arms over here to the elbow and down. So yeah, and even in this joint over here too, I don't like that at all. But yeah, we also don't get the wraps that goes around the hands, like the green sort of wraps. So That's unfortunate as well too, and that's really suffering from the reuse that they're using for this figure to try to cut costs. And like I can understand it in that, but you know, just like it kind of takes away from the aesthetic for the figure, in my opinion. You're seeing reuse again with the torso piece underneath. This isn't too bad. I think that this is good. And like the paint detailing that they chose with this, really does show with all the weathering on the bat signal and the actual suit in itself. The belt could have used a bit of paint over here, but overall I'm not too mad about that. You can easily put on gold paint over top of that. And then for the pants, they do look pretty good as well too, with all the wrinkles going on. You do get the holster piece over here, but it's kind of missing the holster, but it's got like the buckles to it. So that kind of sucks, but I can understand why they didn't do it, because you know it would be hindering the jacket from over here. So I'm not too mad about that. I think that's fine. But for the back, you do get the belt continuing on along with the rest of the pants, so that looks good. And then you get the knee pads here, which is great. Those look pretty good. I like the fact that they painted those in as well. And then of course the boots, which I do believe are also reused. Not too bad. And then you also get the treads at the bottom, along with 2 peg holes. As for articulation, the head can go up. It's kind of hindered at the top over there, but you know, I don't really think you need to move it all that much. You can move down slightly, you can move side to side. You get a bit of a pivot in there as well too. There's a butterfly joint in here in the arm joint, so you can move it up about that much. Up, down, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which move in about that far. You do get some wrist articulation, which is a swivel and a hinge, which you can do forward and back or up or down. And then you do get a diaphragm joint here, along with a waist joint, ab crunch joint sort of thing. So you can go up about that much, and you can see the trench coat does go forward, but then you move it back, and it doesn't hinder it all that much. So that's not too bad as well too. The legs can kick up slightly. It's a little bit hindered by the diaper piece going on over there, so that kind of sucks. And of course, he can't really move back because of the jacket. He can do the splits, not much, and then he can do a double jointed knee if you really wanted to push it about there. And then he does have some ankle articulation, which is a down and up and a side to side, along with a pivot, and then some toe articulation, which is a hinge. Taking a look at Armored Batman over here, I wouldn't really call this Armored Batman, but more so maybe Battle Damage Batman, because he does have the battle damage in his face. But really the only difference between this and the regular release is the head sculpt. And that's kind of disappointing to me, because I feel like they could have done this as an easy head swap. I am happy to have 2 versions of the figure. I like both editions of that costume, so I don't really mind it all that much, but you can see the bit of the Ben Affleck likeness in the sculpt over here. And yeah, this turned out pretty good. I actually think it does look like Ben Affleck from most angles. You just kind of have to fill out that helmet, but I think that they overall have done it very well. But mainly the aesthetic with this figure that I really like is how they have all the different sculpted detailing going on with all the weathering and everything, and then the paint fills in everything. It looks so nice. I love it. Battle damage should have had Superman's handprint inside of this armor piece over here. I know that for sure. And then this strap piece should be gone. It should not be part of the sculpt, but it is there. And then you do get some little marks all across the armor over here, which is great. And then looking at the back over here, kind of continues on. Looks pretty nice. I love how they did the gold for the fins over here. Arms look really nice as well too. The belt looks great. You got the crotch piece there. You got the legs going on. Overall, really nice aesthetic with this guy. And if you're a really big fan of those kind of mech suits, this is absolutely great. I love this so much, and I love that they actually put in the paint detail with this one, unlike the Knightmare Batman. But this looks pretty good. And then you do get the treads at the bottom over here, and these ones are a little bit sharp, so you do want to watch your fingers on these. In terms of articulation, not too bad, considering that this is a pretty big figure. The head does move up about that much, so it's not all that far. It can move down pretty good, side to side, but a pivot in there as well too. The arms do move up, and thankfully the shoulder pads are attached to the chest piece over here, so you can move them up pretty well. If you did have that shoulder piece sculpted in there, you would not been able to. But he does have the butterfly joint, so you can move it all the way around like that. Bicep swivel, you get a single joint elbow. This is a little bit disappointing, but I can kind of understand it because this is a bit of a bigger figure. It was probably harder to implement that. And then you do get a swivel at the elbow as well too. That's a new thing. I like that they added that in. And then you do get some wrist articulation, which is a swivel and a hinge. You do get the same sort of diaphragm joint and the ab crunch over here, and you can pivot it all the way around. Pretty nice as well too. Down maybe about that much. You can go back about that much, so pretty good. He can kick forward about there, and he can kick back on an angle. You can do the splits at about that much there. Double jointed knee, which moves in about that far. And then some foot articulation, which is down, up, a bit of a side-to-side movement, and then a pivot. And then, of course, the toe hinge. And yeah, if you wanted to count the cape, it can articulate as well, too, because it is posable. And yeah, you can get it into some pretty nice poses over here. It does have a pretty good length to it. And yeah, looks pretty good. As for some comparisons today, I have the DC Multiverse Batman v Superman figure by McFarlane Toys over here. And then over here I have the armored Batman from the DC Direct DC Films line that was unfortunately canceled after 2 figures, and that was the armored Batman and the Superman. This for the longest time was my favorite armored Batman figure, but I don't know. Like the proportions of this guy I like a lot more, but this just looks so like it's so eye-catching. The elephant in the room with these two over here. So yes, this one over here does have a lot of reuse on it, and if we take a closer look, you can see what I was talking about here with the arms from the elbow there. They're literally the exact same thing, but yeah, same torso and all. If you want to compare these to some figures you have at home, we can see over here that the Knightmare Batman does stand at about just over 7 inches tall, while the armored Batman over here stands at between 7.5 to 8 inches. So final thoughts on the collector's edition DC Multiverse Armored Batman and Knightmare Batman from Batman v Superman. What can I say? I absolutely love that we're getting Batman v Superman figures nowadays, especially considering that we're going into a new era of DC with James Gunn. I'm really glad that we're actually honing back on the era of Zack Snyder. And honestly, with all eras of Batman in general, like McFarlane Toys has been absolutely killing it with all the lineups that he's come out with. You know, you had the Batman and Robin wave, you had the Batman Forever wave. All those were absolutely fantastic, and this is no exception. Now, these are the first 2 figures that I got out of this wave. I am planning to get the rest. I have the rest on order. I'm not sure if I'll do reviews on all of them, but if you guys do want to see more of them, let me know in the comments below. But as for these figures, I'm looking at this at the sole purpose of having an extra set of them to include the weapons with. I'll get the positives out of the way first. Love the armored Batman. The armored Batman is great. My one gripe about it is that I wish that we did get those extra battle damage pieces, you know, with Superman grabbing him in the chest, left that mark there. It is missing those like smaller pieces, and it would have also been nice to get a Kryptonite Spear now that I think of it inside of this set. But overall, I'm a really big fan of it. I really like that look of where you kind of see Ben Affleck's likeness in it, and they did it pretty well. I like it a lot. But the Knightmare Batman, man, oh, I am so on the fence about this guy. It's crazy. And I talked about it before in one of my previous videos when they originally revealed these figures, that I didn't mind this look of it in particular. I like, don't get me wrong, I like the overall like portrait of it. I like the trench coat of it. The trench coat looks really nice. I like the pants. I like the face sculpt on this one specifically because it is being covered by the face cover. But just some parts of it are so lazy that I can't look over it. That is with the arms. I do think that we really needed those arm wraps because those are a significant detail in my opinion. But then on top of that, the gun is what really annoys me because you had this 2-pack set that you created specifically to add these weapons as Knightmare Batman would have and that we all know and love. But you don't even put in the extra details for it to have the Joker card or to put on the strap. The strap I can get past, but at least the Joker card, that part I find really disappointing. Now, what do I give the set as a rating? This is really difficult. it's really driven to a specific audience. Like if you're a fan of Ben Affleck's Batman, this is the set to get. If you're a fan of the Batman v Superman movie, you could get this set, but at the same time, the regular release figures are pretty good. I really just feel like this was kind of a reaction from all the fans being absolutely excited about the Ben Affleck Batman released from earlier this year. So in that case, I would say that this set probably deserves around a 7 out of 10. If it was the Knightmare Batman specifically, it would probably be closer to a 5, to be honest, but that Armored Batman really does balance it and bring it up a little bit. Overall, though, if you did miss out on this, because I know it did sell out, you really aren't missing that much. Like, at the end of the day, it's just the weapons that aren't really in scale, and then the head sculpts for them. The regular release figures are out there. So I say all this critique, but at the end of the day, I'm really happy, once again, that they went ahead and did Batman v Superman figures, that they did Ben Affleck's Batman, and they did specifically a 2-pack for it. I am a really big fan of that. I just feel like that if they were going to go all out with this, then they should have went all out, period, and added in those little details. And you may hear me say that, and you may think, okay, he's being a little bit too critical with this. And you know what? That's true. It's just because I feel so passionate about this movie and about this version of the character that, you know, I want to see it done justice at the end of the day. I'm going to stop rambling on it now. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you guys like Ben Affleck's portrayal of Batman? Do you like the costumes that he's worn in all the movies he's been in? And if so, which is your favorite? I'm kind of curious about that. But that's it, you guys. As every YouTuber begs you to do, please like and subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.